Well, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos. It is so good to see all of you. My name is Rabbi Aaron Miller. I always feel so lucky to be joined by Cantor Susan Bortnick, who is leading the service with us as well, and to be joined by all of you. We are, we're almost in the month of Elul.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do. Oh my gosh. This is alternatively known as when rabbis go like this time. But I want to welcome all of you to Wash Hebrew. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Here's what I want you all to do. I want you to turn to someone sitting next to you. I want you to share your name, where you were before you got here, so where you came from today. And also, we've had some crazy weather over the past couple of weeks. Think about a storm that we've had over the past few weeks. If you've been in town, I want you to share with that person where you were when that storm was happening. How about that? Guys. For the nothing. Yeah. So we started driving let us sing joyously to Adonai. We continue with Lechuna Ranana on page 12. Page 17 at the bottom of the page. Holiness is all around us if we just turn the direction we're looking to see it. So we exalt Adonai our God and bow toward God's holy hill, for Adonai our God is holy. Page 17 at the bottom of the page. We're going to continue with L'chadodi. This is on page 20. This is the capstone prayer of our Kabbalat Shabbat service, where we read that the source of blessing, Makor HaBracha, the source of blessing is no thing you can buy. It is no object you can acquire. In Jewish tradition, the source of blessing, Makor HaBracha, is time. It's this holy moment that we've been observing every week in, week out, for thousands of years, that connects us, that reconnects us, that brings us together. This is what is holy, and it comes from the source of blessing itself. So we're going to continue with L'chadodi, pages on page 20, 1, 2, 5, and 9. Come verse 9, we're going to rise, we're going to face the entrance. greeting the Sabbath bride and anybody else who comes in. And let's join together. Face our doors. We'll turn to page 24. Shalom Aleichem, for the holiness that surrounds us in this moment and in every moment of our lives that we are aware.
Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Hasharei, Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moachem leShalom, Aleichem HaShalom,
at the bottom of page 27. We read together. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence. We rise on page 28 for Baruch Hu. Please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We continue on page 30 with Ma'ariv, Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim uvitvuna mishane itim umachalif et hazmanim umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi layla Umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Our prayer of love on page 32.
Ahavat olam et Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Ahavat olam et Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam ba'ahavat olam et Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. Ahavat olam et Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad.
Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue on page 39, at the top of the page, and we'll read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. We turn to our prayer of freedom, page 40, Michamocha.
Michamocha ba'elim Adonai,
we'll turn to Hashkivenu on page 42, which is not just a prayer asking that God watch over us as we lie down to sleep, but that God wakes us up with life renewed, with a new start. This Shabbat, every day, can be a new start, can be a new beginning in life, the moment you choose to make it so. Let's read together at the top of page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. And so we celebrate this moment that happens all the time, the top of page 44, as we join in Vishamru.
Israel et HaShabbat La'asod et HaShabbat L'Dorotam Berit Olam Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asod et HaShabbat L'Dorotam Berit Olam B'nei Yisrael Ki Le'olam Le'olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asod et HaShabbat L'Dorotam Berit Olam Ki Yishesh Hatamim Asa Adonai et HaShamayim et Ha'aretz Ki Yishesh Hatamim Asa Adonai et השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ולעולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ולעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ולעולם, לדורותם ולעולם, לדורותם ולעולם.
Please rise, page 46. We join in our Amidah.
Adonai, sefatai tiftahu fi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Gula livnei bneihem, Leman Shemo v'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh ha'kol atah Rab le'Hoshia, Morid ha'atal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh ha'kol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishelei afar, Bichamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. I'd like to share a reading. I don't often do this reading, but I'm drawn to it today on page 53. Where might I go to find you, exalted, hidden one? Let's read together. Yet where would I not go to find you, ever-present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you. Please draw near to me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me. We continue together on page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. We turn to, this is my favorite part of the service. I don't know about Canterbury next, but we take a moment to call to mind the joys and the simchas and the celebrations and the things that have happened in your lives or the lives of people who you love that have taken place from last week to this week that are worth celebrating. And so if there's been a moment of joy, I would love to hear. I would love to hear. Share with our community, please.
I completed my chemotherapy.
No kidding. Beautiful. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Yes,
I'm
Suzanne.
going back to work. Well, me and Madison are both going back to work.
You're both going back to work? Fantastic. Hopefully that remains a simcha once you're back at work, that having gone back is a simcha. Right.
Biddy and Bows.
Rainbow's wonderful.
Biddy and Bows.
Biddy and Bows.
In Georgetown, it's a coffee shop.
It's a coffee shop. Fantastic. Let's go say hi. Other simchas, please.
So last Shabbat, my daughter chanted Torah again at about 10 feet from the wall in Israel.
Oh my gosh, fantastic, and welcome back. Welcome back. It's good to have the Bortniks back. Let me say as a rabbi, it's good to have the Bortniks back, please.
I just got back from vacation on Monday night and happy to be back with all of you.
It's great to have you back. Isn't it good to return from vacation to a place you love, right? That's right. Other joys, simchas from last week to this. My daughter turned 8. That's my simcha. She's so cute. Oh my gosh! And she was lioness number 2 in Madagascar. That was put on by her summer camp. Wasn't that cute? Wasn't that lioness number 2? She was great. Other simchas, joys. Yes, please.
I had a chance to visit my brother in Philadelphia today.
Terrific.
For the first time in 5 years.
Oh my God, Roberta, welcome. I'm so glad. That's really beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You came back for Shabbat. I love you. Other simchas, joys from last week to this. They're all on this side. I don't think we had any simchas on this side, but anyway. All right, well, let's join in the bracha, the prayer on the top of page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We continue with our prayer of peace on page 60, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atah melech Adon, lecho hashalom. Ki atah melech Adon, lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
I know for many of you, this is a moment of joy and celebration. For others, or maybe the same time, you're carrying the names of those who are in need of healing in your lives. You're carrying those in your story this evening who could use a prayer or two, could use a phone call or two as well. And so for those who are in need of healing, as I look around the room, if you have someone in mind, I invite you to share their name with us as my eyes meet yours. page 253, our prayer of healing. I'd like to share a reading at the top of page 143 as we pause for this moment of silent prayer. Holy One, give me a quiet heart and help me to hear the still, small voice that speaks within me. It calls me to come close to you and to grow in your likeness. It teaches me to do my work faithfully even when no one's eye is upon me. It counsels me to judge others kindly and to love them freely, for it persuades me to see divinity in everyone I meet. Help me, O God, to come to the end of each day, feeling that I used its gifts wisely and faced its trials bravely. Let's pause for a moment of silent prayer.
Acceptable to you, Adonai.
Well, Shabbat Shalom. The one thing that my 8-year-old wants more than anything in the world is to get her ears pierced. And so, because Lauren and I are such good and compassionate parents, no other parent has ever done this. We take the thing that our child wants and we ask, how can we leverage this? Right? And to behavior that is a bit more agreeable with our family dynamic. Maybe she'll make the bed every morning, or do the dishes, whatever it is. Right? It didn't work. There's no leveraging this kid. She's stronger than all of us combined. And here we are at the end of the summer. Ears are not being pierced, but I've been thinking about piercing ears, and I have to say, probably half the room, I shouldn't make this assumption, but just by show of hands, who here has your ears pierced? That's a lot of us. Okay, hands down. I didn't know anything about piercing ears until I started thinking about it for this evening. It sounds really painful, right? Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. I was actually talking to a colleague earlier today. She asked what I was talking about tonight. I said, getting your ears pierced. She said, oh, just don't use the gun. It's like, there's a gun for this? Someone made a gun to pierce your ears. Oh my gosh, that's terrible, right? I mean, if I were on the other side of this equation, piercing your ears would be the threat and not the incentive, right? And the gun looks like nothing compared to what we see in our Torah portion this week. You think the gun is bad? Just wait. Just wait. So we have a very strange commandment. There's a lot of strange ones. This one's especially weird. But some context before we really dive into Parshat Re'eh. We're about to enter into the Promised Land. Anybody know how long we were slaves in Egypt? 400 years. Anybody know how long we were wandering from Egypt to the Promised Land? 40 years. So it's been 440 years of journeying to this place of freedom. And we're, depending on how you count, we're about a day away. Maybe a couple of days away. It's, as we say in Alabama, right close. It's right there. It's right there. And Moses has a couple of laws about how we enter into this place of freedom. One of them, which I want to zero in on today, is what to do with a servant or a slave. Now, we are talking about a time in the Bible where there were servants and slaves, and if we are being honest, I don't want to give this kind of sermon today, but this diminishment of human dignity is still running rampant. But we're talking about ancient slavery where you could, in our Torah, be a slave for 6 years, and in the 7th year, you were free. You were let go. And the person who you worked for, the master of this house, was to let you free with all kinds of good stuff, just like we left Egypt, with cattle, with flocks, with seed and land, enough to get you started for a life on your own. Go out, be free. And then we have the strangest commandment. We have the question, a hypothetical, which is actually not a hypothetical. What happens if the person who is serving you wants to stay? What happens if your slave, if your servant chooses, even when given every opportunity to leave and to be free, wants to stay your servant, your slave? Are you ready for the worst ear-piercing story of the world? Anybody here have a bad ear-piercing story? We got a 1, maybe a 2. All right, a 3. This is much worse. All right, so I don't know if this side can see, but what you do, I'm going to get right here. You take this person who should be set free. If they want to stay with you, if they're happy enough where they were, you take them, you place their earlobe against a door frame, and you bang it through with a hammer and a nail. That's the ritual. If somebody wants to, I'll do it on this side. Can I do it on this side? Right. So you get the ear right here, and you bang it through. Right. You pierce their ear to the door frame, and that's the ritual. And then this person is your servant, your slave for the rest of their lives, right? So the Bible is clearly not thrilled with this idea that somebody, when given the possibility of freedom in the Promised Land, would instead choose to serve you, right? So why would someone want to remain a slave? We spent all that time leaving Egypt. Why would somebody want to go back? We'll answer this question biblically, and then I want to talk about you and me. We have, in the very first paragraph of our Torah portion, a line that you would not expect. We're about to enter into the Promised Land. It's a good place, right? It's a land of blessing, of milk and honey, of dew and bounty. Remember, we're wandering through the wilderness. It's like Lawrence of Arabia. There's nothing living, and all of a sudden we hear about rain and waterfalls and clusters of grapes the size of a human being, right? I mean, this is a good place to be. Great. There's the mountain of blessing, our Parsha teaches. But there's also going to be on the other side of the Jordan, the mountain of curse. Listen to this. There's both curse and blessing on the other side of the Jordan. The promised land is not just a place of blessing. It's a place of tremendous uncertainty. And we learn in this week's Torah portion and in other Torah portions too, that when we cross over the promised land, it's milk and honey and also monsters and ghosts and malevolent spirits and wild beasts. And there are people there, and they've been fighting each other for 1,000 years. They're battle hardened. They live in fortresses with walls made out of iron going all the way up to the sky, right? So it is not just a place of blessing. The promised land is a place of uncertainty. So what do we do in times of uncertainty? Now, it's not my job here to make you anxious on Shabbat. There's enough to worry about. But as was said just a little while ago, look, I mean, you see what's happening in Hawaii. Oh, my God. Right? Climate change accelerating faster than anybody thought. I'm not going to give you a worry list, right? Recession, please, God's not going to happen, right? Political turmoil, all of these things that are defining, that's classy. That's all these things that are defining what it means to walk through the world in this day and age. Please, God, we look back on this time and ask, how did we get through it? How did we get through it? You know how we got through it? This is funny. I read about this a little while ago. Parachute pants and jeans that now go up to here, right? The fashion from the 80s is back. Did you know this? I'm the most boring dressed. This is basically what I wear day in and day out. But there's been actually a bit written on why is it that this horrible fashion of the 80s is now bad. Is anybody here dressed? I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, Cantor. No, we're good. We're good. Right? It's not because anybody liked it. It's because it was familiar, right? You see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are back. Barbie, which apparently is a great movie, is back, right? All of these things that we spent 40 years running from are now back in our lives. Not because they are great, Barbie movie maybe being the exception, but because they are familiar, right? And I'll tell you, I'll just get personal for a minute. In the middle of the lockdown, the COVID lockdown some years ago, my wife and I were panicked. It was a horrible time. We didn't know how we were going to get through it, how we were going to raise our kids through it, and if anybody in our family was going to pass away during that time, right? And you all felt that too. In those moments, in that span of months when things were absolutely horrible, in retrospect, my wife and I realized we watched no new television. It was not a TV watching time in our lives anyway, but the TV that we did watch was all things that we had already seen at least once before. We listened to no new music, only music that we already were really familiar with. The extent to which we ordered out from restaurants, all like the same 2 or 3 restaurants that we had come to love over the years. There was nothing new in that time of uncertainty, because when things are uncertain, you're not moving forward. What do? You go back, not because it was good, but because it's what you know. And if you're not careful about this, they can get you into a world of hurt. And the people you love into a world of hurt too. Because you spent, and I don't know your story, and this might not be your story, but maybe somebody you know, you or they spent years trying to leave that house that you grew up in, right? Spent years trying to leave that job, spent years trying to leave that friendship, whatever that may be. But isn't it just awful in a way, how even if you never wanted to end up like them, it's so easy to become some version of even those people you tried to leave behind, right? And this, again, might not be your story, but in moments of uncertainty, not when things are good, but when things are uncertain, how easy it is to go back because you or they promised that you would never yell, right? You promised you wouldn't fight like they did. You promised maybe this is your thing, that you wouldn't shut down, or you wouldn't run away, or you wouldn't drink, or you wouldn't shop, or whatever these things you grew up running away from 10 years, 20 years, 40 years out. When things get uncertain, what do you want? What do you want to do, right? It's so easy to go right back. So, I'm going to ask you a question. And this question, I want to end with this. This is a question that I actually learned from my mother, famous in the Miller family psychotherapist. And one of the things she taught me, and one of the things she teaches her clients, and one of the things that I ask myself, every time there is that pull to go back, and this is our question for tonight, is it worth it? Is this moment worth it? Is she worth it? Is he worth it? Is it worth this moment to go back? I've come so far to go back to this place that is familiar. Is it worth it? The first words of the 10 Commandments, right? We have, I am Adonai your God. You know the next line of it? Who brought you out of Egypt. The miracle of the Exodus is that we are no longer where we were. And it took miracles. It took plagues. It took the splitting of the sea. It took wandering 40 years through the wilderness. But there is no going back. And so in those moments of uncertainty, in those moments when you don't know what will be ahead and that past is pulling you, it pulls you like it pulls me, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because the promised land is not back there. The promised land is never behind you. It is always, always ahead, even when that future is uncertain. And so I'd like to end with a reading that we find in our prayer book that we often read on Friday nights here at Washington Hebrew. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change. And within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? On page 282 at the bottom of the page for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atid gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, V'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech ha'chol. Vayom haru, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. We continue at the bottom of page 291. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. This evening, we remember the yard sites of those in our hearts, in our community who are here today and who we remember. We remember Rosa Backenheimer, David H. Barron, Sylvan Benzinger, Celia Berlinski, Martha Bergner, Harry Bernstein, Estelle Birchman, Francis Brock, Julius Kaplan, Carrie K. Fritz Carroll, Harry I. Davidson, Albert DeMarco, Richard Dreisenstock, Saul Drescher, Jacob Edlovich, Saul Ereza, Ruth Estrin, Esther Eisner, Carol Ann Uzent, Edwin B. Feldman, David Frank, David Friedman, Joan Geifman, Linda M. Gittleson, Julius Goldstein, Samuel D. Gordon, Jeannie Greenblatt, Melvin M. Gustorf, Teresa S. Hyde, Frida E. Hochberg, Sarah Sue Kaufman, Charles Kaufman, Bernice Bunny Kaufman, William Kairos, Bernard Kilsheimer, Renee Kraft, Henry B. Kreisman, David Krizak, Dr. David Lazaro, Max Lachey, Abraham Ross Lerner, Ernest M. Levin, Pauline Lewis, Dorothy K. Lux, Jeanette G. Lux, Marion Marks, Marianne Minkoff, Benjamin Max Monsdak, Patricia Ann Montel, Moses A. Morris, Claire Nath, Wendy Ann Oxman, Ella Oppenheimer, Arthur G. Parkett, Stanley Rakusin, Sally R. Rich, Paula Mayer Ring, Monroe James Romansky, Bessie Rosenblum, Ella Rosenblum, Bella Rosenfeld, Rachel C. Rudolph, Roberta Wallach Ryan, Marvin Sader, Pamela B. Saltz, Audrey W. Schwartz, Gertrude Schwartz, Marla Joan Schwartz, Irene Sherman, Ella R. Sinker, Geraldine Citrick, Warren Stark, Mamie Sterling, the Honorable Burton S. Sternberg, Benjamin Stratton, Benjamin Weiner, Sidney Weinreb, Harlan L. Weiss, Esther Wheeler, Jerry Woolman, Charles Zolman, and laid to rest in more recent days. We remember Beverly Rosenberg, Raymond Greenberg, Seal Fox, Thomas Nordlinger, Ken Flex, Stephen Burstein, Vita Levy, Janet Rosalind Adler, Joyce Press, Rosalind Schweitzer, and Irving Mises. To those names, if there's a name you are holding at this time as we turn to this time of memory, I invite you to share their name as my eyes meet yours. We turn to our prayer of memory as we rise for Kadisha Tome on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba be'alma divarach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayei chon u'b'yomei chon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael b'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imrumav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we together say, Amen. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to call forward one of my favorite people and a member of our board of directors, Evan Winston, to come forward to share a little bit of what's coming up. And it's exciting to have you on the beam with us, Evan. Great. Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Rabbi Miller, thank you for that amazing sermon.
Thank you.
And thank you, Cantor Vortnick, for this amazing music, and both of you. This is a just awesome service.
Thank you, Evan.
As Rabbi Miller introduced, I'm Evan Winston, board member here at Washington Hebrew. Welcome you all. We have some wonderful opportunities. I was going to say I could come up here and have my ears pierced.
got some wood. We got some
It'll
wood.
be a whole lot more exciting. My daughter just got her ears pierced at 13.
Oh, okay.
Just before her big moment. But anyhow, here are the announcements, and then won't hold you back before the good food and drink after the service. Mark your calendars for August 19th at Julia Binneman Suburban Center for our next hunger packing event. Also on August 19th, join us at Temple for bagels and schmoozing at our Young Family Shabbat. September 8th to 9th, September 8th to the 10th, join us to kick off the new year with a weekend of events including Welcome Back Tot Shabbat, Vintage Reflections wine tasting, and an American Shlikot concert on Saturday, and RS Open House on Sunday. High holiday tickets are now available for order. Please take a copy of This Week with you and use the QR code for more information or visit the website. And every Shabbat, we increase our joy by reciting Kiddush. This is a moment we remember the miracle of the Exodus and celebrate our freedom. We invite all the children present who are tonight to please come forward and help lead us in this Kiddush. May the vision of these young people give us strength, pride, and hope in a brighter future.
Come on forward.
They're an age of children.
It's like bar bat
In your age
mitzvah
limit,
under.
usually under 13, but anybody can come. You can be a
Sure,
child at
Susanna,
heart. We have
grab one.
plenty
There
of
you go.
grape juice.
There you go. There
It
you
is grape
go.
juice, so you know, feel free. Is there also anyone who would like to lead the Kiddush?
Oh, we got a
'Cause,
cutie. We got a
I don't
cutie.
have to do it. If there is anyone who would like to lead the Kiddush, anyone? No takers? Okay, I'll do it.
Great.
Oh, there's another one.
Oh,
Apparently they had already bolted
come on
and were
forward,
at the
Cassie.
Oneg.
All right, this is going to be yours, all right? But can you do both at the same time? Oh my gosh, so much talent. So much talent. Watch out for that one. All right, great. Oh, God, you're so
Take the
sweet.
challah for you? Milo, do you want me to take the challah for you? Okay.
All right.
Here, you can hold it. We join together. Page 5 if you need the words for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'yetziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, yotanu kiddashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu.
Lift up a little bit.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim.
Turn to say l'chaim. Say l'chaim. 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 Beautiful. L'chaim. L'chaim.
All right.
All right. Thank
Can
you
we
guys.
go back? Stay here, stay here.
Yeah, stick around. All right.
Milo.
Milo, can you pull
Milo,
off
we're
the-
going to give you
can
back
pull off the cover?
Perfect.
Beautiful.
All
Oh,
right.
I'm blocking it. All right. Yeah, I'll hold this.
Here, we'll take that. Yeah, there we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, v'betei avot. Wonderful. Little, stay up here for a moment. We have a blessing for you. This is a blessing that parents can say, grandparents can say, anybody who loves a little can say as we come together every Friday night, every Shabbat.
Yivarechecha. Oh, did you want me to sing
Yeah,
it?
sure.
Oh, okay. Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May God show God's face to you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasim lecha shalom, shalom.
May God's light shine upon you and grant you the gift of peace. Amen. Amen. As these guys go down, give them a hug. Say, I love you. Shabbat shalom when they take their seats. And so we're going to conclude our service on page, is it 323? Yes.
I think so.
Page 323. We're going to join together in Ein Kelohenu. And then, as Evan said, we have a wonderful oneg outside where we'll get to schmooze a little bit more. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Good Shabbos.
shalom.